Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Good people, welcome to our show. By the way, I don't want to discriminate bad people. Welcome to our show as well. Anyone who wanna learn more about SEO, who wanna know how to get results, welcome, because today we are going to cover interesting topic about SEO and unite with product management. Today, I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Björn Darko. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What an amazing intro.
It's a big pleasure. Before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about SEO and product management.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Björn Darko. I'm a head of product in SEO here in Germany at Ladenzeile, one of the top 10 e-commerce platforms, actually a product comparison platform. Responsible for the entire front-end product development functionalities and stuff like that, but aside also SEO. And I actually baked a product-led SEO strategy into the product, and now my SEOs are actually acting as product managers, working on concepts and stuff, but I think we are getting into it later. Before joining Ladenzeile, I was working for Searchmetrics. Most probably know it's one enterprise SEO tool. I also used to work for a big media company in Switzerland, also for e-commerce auction platform there, originally from Hamburg in Germany, and have 3 kids, married, and a happy man.
Nice. Love it. Yeah, awesome. Can you tell why so many great specialists in Germany? Why you spend time in Germany? I don't know. I often have guests from Germany, from Switzerland, many other countries, but I see many great experts in this country. Can you tell what is the secret of Germany?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we started really early also with SEO in Germany, and the biggest tool vendors like Systrix or also Searchmetrics, they kind of invented the visibility graph, right? So they were actually quite ahead of the time, measuring visibility of keywords, and I think that's this German engineering mind is what brought us into SEO in the very beginning. And you're right. I mean, most of the big names also coming from Germany, but the reason for this is because we started early. And I also have the feeling that back then when I started in 2012, it was already like quite an industry. But I always had the feeling that in Germany, especially, it was more kind of technical SEO. So everything that was technical was more coming, also content coming from Germany, whereas in the US there was more like content related and content driven, which today shows that's actually more important. So maybe the US was just like 2-3 years ahead, but I think nowadays that's the world is different. It became such a big industry. It's amazing to see how that developed.
Yeah, got it. I have the first question about best practices. I often get this question. The best practices in SEO, what today works, what doesn't work. But I think we have no best practices. It depends on your strong side. For example, if you are good with writing, then consider this one. If you're good with technical optimization, probably you can spend more time with that to optimize your website, or link building. It depends. Of course, without content, it's impossible to get any result. But in the end, when we consider other algorithms, it's better to consider your strong side. And you mentioned that in Germany and your experience with technical optimization. Can you tell how it's important to decrease the number of technical errors? Because, once I remember one interesting tweet from SEO specialist, that was Paul, and many SEOs share that only 40% of their recommendations are fixed. Now, when they share a list of technical errors, webmasters have time or resources to fix just 40% of them. And I was on the same boat. Once I told my client, please fix all these technical errors. After 2 weeks, he fixed only alt text on the pages about us, contact page, many others. I told him it's not critical. We are not going to rank these pages. Can you tell about technical errors? How to choose the right one? How to choose critical errors that it's must have according to your experience?
Well, I mean, technical, it is kind of a good and bad relationship with technical errors, right? Especially tools, right? So if you use tools and they tell you you have technical errors, you know, if you're not very well experienced in SEO, you think the world is going to an end, right? So there's a report coming in and it says, hey, you have, I don't know, some soft 404 errors. I don't know. I'm just making something up, right? If you don't have the context and maybe also look at the numbers, if, let's say you have 1 million URLs and you have 2 404 errors, I don't think that is something that you should straight on jump to, right? So I think with technical errors, it's like you have to have the context. You also have to have the experience to see if it's really critical or not. And I would say as long as it's not related to page speed, core web vitals, or indexing, I don't think that you need to bother. But everything that is actually related to indexing and performance, I think you should consider as a bug and, you know, act immediately on.
Okay, got it. We have the question, what's this type of association of SEO and product management? Can you tell more about that? How unite these topics?
Yeah. I think that's, from my perspective, like, and I'm super passionate about this. It's a trend that I'm seeing also with a lot of companies, also here in Germany. You know, that, you know, SEO is becoming more and more like a part of product management. And the reason for this is, I think, and you know, that's why I did it, is that, you know, it's you know, you as an SEO itself, you are so well-rounded. You're like it's an interdisciplinary field. You have to have knowledge about content, about UX, about technical things, about website architecture, about, you know, developments and stuff like that. So that's same as a product manager. He also needs to have like an understanding of how a page is being built, how, you know, what is important to add to a page, etc. And also the way how SEOs, you know, normally work, right? Let's say you want to, you know, create a new category on an e-commerce platform. Let's say you get new winter jackets in, so you need to create new categories and subcategories, etc. pp. Normally in the past, we just, you know, moved on, created those pages, and, you know, sent all on them on index. And if you look at those pages, you can sometimes clearly see that it's just there for SEO purposes, right? Now with the increasing importance of, you know, being user friendly, thinking about UX, thinking about content itself, what needs to happen is actually, you know, in product management, we have 2 cycles. One is product discovery, the other one is product delivery, right? And then within product discovery, it is actually, you have an idea. Let's say you want to scale, you know, a new category. What happens within product discovery is that you bring all the stakeholders together that's needed for that specific project, and, you know, you bring engineers in that product discovery, you bring designers in that product discovery, everyone that has a stake in a specific project. And what you start is like you add, you know, all the brainstorming that you have, how it could look like, right? Out of this brainstorming, there will be a first prototype being created with the help of the designers. That's being tested with users, ideated, changed until you have a proven point that this version of a prototype is now the right one to send out to the user. So it becomes a more holistic approach, rather than, okay, let's just create 10,000 pages, send them to index, and we don't actually care how they look like, right? And that's A. Now, take content as an example as well. Back in the days, a typical e-commerce category page was, you had a listing, you had a H1, you had your listing of products, and very down at the bottom, you had a text. Now, if a user reads the text or not, that doesn't matter. It's just there for the bots, right? Nowadays, content is getting more and more important. And from my perspective, an e-commerce website has more or less needs to be designed like a sales advisory page. A user needs to come on a page, they need to find the right information that is relevant to the purchase, that satisfies the intent, etc. And now it actually becomes a more like a design. How do we design a category page that is super useful for a user? And you, as an SEO, most probably don't have the knowledge of it. So you need to speak with designers, with engineers. You need to speak with maybe category managers that are important for it. So you need to come together in this discovery and think about how a page like this could look like. And then SEO is actually baked into the product management, cycle and process, and it becomes much more user friendly and becomes more professional than just fixing it like we did in the past.
Yeah, valuable. Love it. Okay, let's talk about another aspect. For example, if a website has many pages, I don't know, like for example, dress for women, red, white, green, I don't know, for parties, so something like this. But all these pages have the same content. The difference only the color, size, or anything else. So filters. Can you tell how to optimize these filters for SEO? Do we need to index all these pages and try to get traffic with long tail keywords, or it's better to optimize for a specific product that is most popular, best-selling product, and index this page for Google? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in general, you should just have one page, right? And the thing is, with those attributes or those filters, be it sizes, be it like colors, be it different materials. Of course, you can have them as filtered, and they should be there because it's important for a user to filter a page down like on these attributes. Now, if it comes to SEO, of course, you should just index one of those pages. However, if you see that there is demand in terms of search volume for a specific combinations of a color with a shoe, let's say black Air Max 1 shoes, right? If there is search volume and people are actually searching for it, then you should, of course, consider also to index those pages. But in general, you shouldn't just open the gates and index all the filters, but really going through them, research if there's demand and people would actually search for it and it shows up, to avoid, of course, that you have duplication on the page. But in this case, you satisfy the intent of somebody that's searching for specific Nike Air Max in a specific color.
Can you tell more about how to avoid duplication? So we need to write two different texts or create different content to one product, but with different size or color?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So like the good thing here is like you have two different intents, right? The one intent is somebody is not really sure which Nike Air Max they want to buy, so they just type in Nike Air Max buy online or something like that. So they would get a general page. If somebody is very specific and says, okay, I want the black Nike Air Max, then the intent here is a different one, right? So, and you need to make sure that the title is different from the general one so that you have actually black Nike Air Max in there. Maybe also the text is a bit different. Of course, for a shoe, it's difficult to have like, very different text. But, if there are specific sentences or, the order or the structure is different, but it's clear that it is for a specific black shoe, I don't think that's a problem. So you just need to make sure that it is very that it differentiates itself with the purpose on the specific intent of having black as an attribute compared to the general page. And then if you do it like this, very strategically and thought through, instead of opening all the gates, indexing all the filters, then I don't think that you run into problems.
Yeah, got it. We see Muhammad is watching Brazil, Croatia. We have no such issues. Germany left the World Cup. Ukraine didn't get it, so so we can have the podcast. Okay, I have the question about SEO strategy. I see when webmasters usually pay so much attention to high volume keywords. They open Ahrefs, SEMrush, Google Keyword Planner, many other tools, find high volume keywords, can see traffic, wow, a lot of traffic, and try to compete with Wikipedia, many other websites. Forget about sales funnel, about user intent, many other stuff. Can you tell how to create an SEO strategy today? Because most websites ignore it or just create generic strategy that many other websites have to compete with many other pages online. So tell about the best way how to create the strategy.
Yeah. I think the best way is, and here's again like the symbiosis with product management, right? If you work in product management, you have to start with a product strategy, or a product strategy where you see the product is going to in the next, let's say, 5 years. Let's say 5 years, right? So you can say that our product should be very usable for a specific target group, or our product should be the fastest comparison platform in the world, right? That would be like a strategic goal, and coming from that, in order to achieve this, you need to have specific features or functionalities, right? You also need to research what a user, what kind of user problems do you have within this? Like, how can you fix this? What functionalities, what ideas you need to bring up, right? And out of this list of ideas, together with this product strategy, you have the so-called strategic roadmap. And based on that strategic roadmap, that gives you an outlook of the, let's say, next 5 years, right? You can break down those topics that you have on a strategic roadmap to a roadmap, like a quarterly roadmap, for example, and then you can work off of that. Like that's in general. And I think that this is something that where we as SEOs can learn from product management, to have this approach of a strategic vision and a strategic roadmap with specific topics and items that you want to build and follow up on. And that's also like how I do, SEO strategies. So when I'm joining a new company, for example, I would say like the first 2-3 months, I'm actually just doing a due diligence. I'm crawling the site, I'm looking at the site, I'm looking at the products that they actually want to sell. I'm looking at the demand and questions people have about those products. I'm looking at the technical setup. I'm doing interviews with a lot of stakeholders within the company to understand their needs, to understand their goals, actually, and all of this together, I bring together in a strategic vision, so to speak. One example from my company now is, we are a specific amount of SEOs, not too big as a team, but my approach would actually be that everybody in the company does SEO a bit, because then we can scale much faster, right? And in order to do so, we need to help the sales department, for example, with delivering data. So in SEO, you have a huge amount of data, demand data, actually, where people go to Google, search for specific products. It has a specific volume, and if there's a product search that has a high volume, but we don't have it in the inventory, you could go to sales and say, hey, look, this specific word is searched so many times, and it seems to be highly relevant also for our platform. Can you please go and find a shop that can give us the inventory, for example? So it needs to, like, SEO needs to inform sales and category management in that sense as well. And we, for example, also have a separate content department, right? So we don't write content within SEO, but we have a content department. So we need to also work very closely with them together, and that's part of our strategy, to provide best practices within content, to provide trend data, to provide structural education, how content needs to be structured in order to show up in featured snippets, or in order to fulfill a specific intent. So there's a lot of talking, of course, that needs to happen within the company, and also trends. Like, I think trends is a really big topic, especially for us within e-commerce. There are constantly new products that that are coming on the market, and we need to really observe this. And if you use this trend data to break down specific categories because you need to add something, etc., and also the inventory, I think that's strategically wise. So going in the company, doing due diligence the first 2 to 3 months, like really speaking to a lot of people and really observing, what could be the biggest potential. Really taking this time and writing this down and present it also to the company. I think that's a goal to go.
Yeah, love it, interesting. Okay, can you tell about this cooperation between SEOs and content creators? In particular department. Okay, for example, SEOs wanna optimize content for search engines. Content departments probably think about customers, users. So how to unite them? How to find the right mix of cooperation to get results to be ranked on Google?
I don't think that we should differentiate between search engines or a user, right? The content that's being written from the content team needs to be informed, as I said just 2 minutes ago, needs to be informed with the data that we are delivering. So if you consider search volume or keyword research not as, okay, there's a keyword, I need to write the text for it so that it ranks in Google, but if you really consider those data as user demand, specific questions they are asking, specific terms they're searching for, and bringing that knowledge into the content mindset as well when they create content, that they really specifically answer these questions or take these questions to have an idea what to write about and what intent to fulfill and stuff like that. Then it becomes very user friendly and very user relevant content, and it's not necessarily just for search engines, but it really hits the intent, the user that is coming from search, that is in discovery mode, really hits the intent, and then you have I think a great product, a great content strategy.
Okay, let's talk about sales funnel. Once I had a conversation with website owner, and he told me that he lost traffic, 400,000 traffic on his website because of Google updates, but he didn't lose sales. That's interesting. So he got this crazy traffic, good traffic, but he didn't lose sales. Probably this traffic didn't sell anything. So can you tell how to unite content strategy, marketing strategy, or website content with sales funnel? Because, for example, even if I get traffic with keyword SEO, it's hard. I know it's really hard to compete with Moz, Neil Patel, Backlink, SEMrush, Ahrefs, many other websites. But in the end, do I need SEO in the top 10 results? I don't think so, because I have no such tools. I have no any intent to sell. But if I rank, for example, SEO services, it's much closer to my sales funnel. I can sell services. So can you tell how to unite sales funnel with specific keywords and don't get this trap like to get traffic without sales?
Yeah. I mean, if we take e-commerce as one example, and I actually love the example of the sales funnel, right? Because you can also, like keyword queries, you can also put into the sales funnel where you have like top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, right? Top of funnel is always like this discovery keywords, right? Where people don't necessarily know what they want now, so they go and say, let's say they want to buy a coffee machine, right? So they type in coffee machine or like a coffee automate, and they don't necessarily know which type of coffee machine they really need. So and on the top of funnel, and that's the biggest amount of search volume because it's very informational driven. If you come up with a content strategy, then you should really focus on just those keywords that's generic, maybe very informational driven, and trying to come up with a magazine that explains specific differentiation between coffee machines so that they can have an idea of which one fits to them, right? So that's bottom of funnel. If you have the middle of funnel, so they know now, okay, a Jura coffee machine is the best for me. That's a specific coffee machine. Then they would land on a category page where they land on a listing, right? And on a listing, you should just like it's the last trigger. They see already the products, they see what inventory you have, and here again, as I said before, now a category page needs to act like a sales advisory page. So very specific content that really triggers the purchase of the user. And it's not just at the bottom where it's a long text that's made for search engines, but really content that triggers the purchase and informs the user in the right moment to click on it and most probably buy it. That's what you should do in the middle of the funnel from my perspective. And then on the bottom of the funnel, then they are already on a product detail page. They already choose the specific a product they want to buy. They now know it is exactly this one, and there you should of course make it very conversion driven, like very salesy, very conversion driven, so that they don't end up in reading another novel, but it's very short, crispy, and make sure that they hit the add to basket button. So that's how I would like consider a content strategy in a sales funnel. Top of funnel, helping those users that are in discovery, that they really land on your page through a magazine or to a more informative article. Then on the category pages itself, there we are middle of funnel, really making sure that they get relevant information about the products in your listing. And then as soon as they are on a product detail page, really crispy, conversion driven, with not too much text, but maybe a video, maybe reviews, everything that helps the user actually to do an informed purchase.
Yeah, valuable. Let's talk about how to analyze big brands. For example, I love spending time to check out Apple.com, Amazon.com, many other websites. And I found it's a trap for many small websites, because you can't use the same approaches that big brands can, because of their authority, trust, loyal audience. And for example, on Amazon, when you open a product page, you can see almost everything. Reviews, description, rating, all information. On Apple, I see simplicity. Nothing, just simple, nice looking picture of iPhone, and a few words, just quote, make difference, something like this. So very simple. Probably Apple doesn't think about SEO, because this company doesn't need it. Amazon, Amazon often, if I remember correctly, Amazon gets 90% of all sales inside Amazon, and only 10% bring other sales like SEO, affiliate marketing, and similar. So probably these companies don't need it, but anyway, Amazon ranks well, Apple ranks well. Can you tell how to learn the best site from big brands that you can adapt to your website? Because once I asked one of my clients why you submitted almost all your products on homepage, and he replied to me, check out Amazon. On Amazon you have a lot of products in the homepage, but Amazon can personalize experience according to data. Amazon has this data, but most websites have no data, and they need to submit just simple information, probably not like on Apple, because Apple has authority and everyone knows about Apple. Many other pages can explain how Apple products work. So can you tell how to learn from big brands and find real valuable information to add on your website?
Yeah, I think Amazon is a really good example, because if you look at Amazon from an SEO perspective, it's a nightmare. The structure of the page, it's an absolute nightmare. You can't really you can't really identify a clear and consistent structure sometimes at Amazon. What they're really doing really good, and you said that on the homepage, and that's also what I believe that a lot of e-commerce players should do. Like the homepage for them is it's a curation paradise. If you land on the homepage, you have hundreds of widgets that they can use for a specific purpose. If you go on it, it says, hey, the best gifts for him, best gifts for her, new products in, most rated shops, the hottest products in summer. Like they have like the entire homepage is full of curation features, specific modules that really helps the user, of course, to click through it and find a way to navigate. Although it's sometimes very overwhelming, but if you consider SEO as well, most of the time also, Google is coming from the homepage and crawls itself through the page. And on the homepage on Amazon, for example, they find all the categories and all the products that are relevant for Amazon at that specific time, maybe that specific season. And that's why they do a really great job on the homepage. And I always use this as an example because I love the way how they use it just for curation. It's really a curation page, right? Now, I don't know if and then the most important page for them that also drives the most visibility is actually the product detail pages. Right. It is actually different from, the normal best practice within e-commerce where everybody or most of the pages just optimize for category pages for those generic terms like Nike, Air Max, right? That's most of the time where SEO is actually optimized for. And the PDP is not so important, but for Amazon it is. But if you look at the PDP at Amazon, and that's where we can learn a lot, it is so relevant to the product. The information that they have on the product database is also very long. It's very overwhelming, but the content is so relevant and so thought through. And it helps to add a lot of meat to the bone, of course, for the user, but also for a crawler, a search engine crawler, right? They find so many information that they think, okay, that's the most relevant page that needs to rank for that specific product search, right? They have videos, they have reviews from users, they have product descriptions, they have like huge infographics on it. Sometimes they have like videos that show the product in action. They have like there's so much. If you click through other e-commerce pages, most of the time they maybe have like a bit of product description. They have like some images, and then they try to, if you scroll down, they try to make, other relevant products also to advertise, but that's actually it. And on Amazon, you also get comparison with different products. Hey, if you like, you have a specific product, you have a huge majority of relevant other products that are similar to it, where you can compare price, you can compare ratings, you can compare specific specifications, and so on and so forth. It's super relevant, and for me, buying on Amazon is such an enjoyment, because I'm so well informed, and I'm pretty sure, like when I go through to the PDP, I reach through all this, I'm pretty sure I'm making a good purchase, because I'm informed by other users that had it. I'm informed by a comparison that I made to make sure that I actually have the best item. I'm informed by very good images. I'm informed by videos, and so on and so forth. It helps me to make the purchase, and I think that's why they're so also so successful with it.
Yeah, awesome. Björn, I have the question about common mistakes. Can you list common mistakes that webmasters still do, and tell how to find a much better way today?
Mistakes in general, you mean? What SEOs would? Yeah.
But you can list mistakes with product pages and in general as well. Yeah.
I think, like in general, like if we just speak about SEO, then I think the most common issues that are out there is still like duplication, like duplicate content, as you just described, with filters, specific URL attributes, where those things gets indexed, and sometimes you don't have an overview about it. That's a common mistake. all those best practices, having a sitemap, having H1s, having text on pages. Like sometimes you're really surprised that, this industry is so, we are in this industry so long now, but there's still some basics sometimes missing, even though it's, it's common sense actually. I think like these are the biggest mistakes when it comes now to product management. And I think that's something where we can also learn SEOs from product management. This term of, every SEO says it depends, right? It depends doesn't happen. It doesn't happen within product management, because within product management, as I said, in the discovery phase, you have a specific assumption, a specific hypothesis, where you say, okay, I believe if we do this, then this happens. And then you go into discovery where you create a prototype, you create a click dummy, you test it with users, and you get validation of your assumption, right? We always say, or most of the time always say, it depends if somebody asks us. But being bold enough to say, yes, you know what, I believe this and this will happen if we do this, and then actually go down the trail and test it and get validation. That's what most of the people still do wrong from my perspective, and we should be more bold and being also like not scared about testing things.
Yeah, I love testing. Yeah, I spent so much time by testing. And 10 years ago, when I started my SEO journey, probably 12 years ago, and I used two strategies. I bought more backlinks that my competitors had, and I created a lot of content for search engines. Today, all the strategies don't work. Today, we think about human being in the end. But it's interesting that today I use a lot of non-SEO methods. I mean, like social media to improve trust, or branding. Can you tell what kind of non-SEO methods it's better to consider today to get much higher results and ranking positions with SEO?
Yeah. It's a good question. It's easy to answer actually, but it's a very complex answer
Yeah.
because of course, like as I said in the beginning, like SEO is a very interdisciplinary field, right? We as SEOs need to understand a lot about the business itself. How is the website being built? How are products being, displayed on the page? How's content being written? How's UX and so on? So we need actually to unify all of this, because we can't just be dependent on, how fast the page is loading. We can't just be dependent, okay, at least we have product content on the page and then it's ranking. We can't just be dependent on, okay, we have one landing page created, it will rank now. It's not going to work, right? Especially if you're a very young company, backlink, getting backlinks is still relevant. Like for building a brand and building up this authority, you need to get like quality backlinks. That's still, from my perspective, still super important and something that you need to focus on. Now, you shouldn't go out and just buy random links, but you should like think from a strategic perspective. And that, coming back to the question that you had like two questions before, if you're a new company, within your SEO strategy, you need to have this PR and content marketing thought of, I create content also in order to build links and authority for my brand and the product I want to sell. Right? Let's say let's say you have all the content on the page, and your site is technically really well structured, but if it's not user friendly, if it's not designed well enough, if it's not thought through how a user actually goes through the page and they need to click 50 times before they get to the product, you will also not win. So if you have like a really good page, if you have like content, you have internal links, you have like nice navigation and stuff, but the page is too slow, you will not rank, right? So it's so many aspects that you need to overview, and it also depends on how early are you in the market, what product are you selling, are you just a content site, are you an e-commerce site, are you an insurance, are you a bank, right? If you're a bank or insurance, you might have just 20 pages that are relevant because you just have a few products, right? If you're an e-commerce page, you have maybe million pages. So there's a lot of variables, that this answer is dependent on that. It's not easy to answer, but very complex.
Yeah, got it. And I have the final question. Let's imagine you started from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills, anything. You just want to jump on SEO field to get results, ranking positions, traffic. What will you do today to learn more about SEO?
First of all, if you live in Germany, you subscribe to the SEO Presso podcast. That's A. B, you subscribe to your podcast. I think it's it is easier than ever to get into SEO because you can come from different angles. If you have been in PR or you have been in content before, if you have been in the developer, if you have been a product manager before, like, because it's such an interdisciplinary field, you can come from every other profession and just start doing SEO. Then on top of it, there's like all the information, it's for free essentially, right? You don't need to study, don't need to go to a university and pay money. You just need to, be passionate about it. You just need to be curious, and you just need to be able to Google, and you will find all the information that it's needed. So even if you don't have, a knowledge about how content needs to be structured or how you can make sure that the website is loading fast, there's so much sources that you can actually search for and look up, and that's how you learn, right? And also when I started, I had no idea about SEO, but I just did it. I jumped into it. You get a specific case, a specific project on the table, you figure out how it works. Then it's of course very important that you measure the results, and if you measure the results, you learn if it works or not, and that's how you learn and grow. And the longer you do, the more you do, the better it is. But again, I think it's it was never as easy to get into SEO as today.
Yeah, love it. Björn, it's a big pleasure to get you on my show, to learn from you. You share a lot of valuable insights. Tell our audience how they can reach out to you, learn more about you, follow you.
Yes, I'm actually available on most of the platforms. On Instagram, Björn Darko, on LinkedIn, Björn Darko. I'm also running a podcast, as I said, so you can subscribe to it. Sometimes I also have English episodes. It's on Spotify, SEO Presso, and Spotify and iTunes, wherever. And also on Twitter, I'm available at Björn. I think the handle is Björn Darko.
Yeah. For me, that was hard to type your third letter in the word Björn, because we have no in English this word.
Yes.
This letter. Okay, Björn, it's a big pleasure. Thanks again. Thanks for your time for all these valuable insights. Guys, you need to follow Björn. You can see a lot of value. Subscribe to his podcast. So follow him on Twitter, because you can see, you can learn and get a much better way how to achieve results on Google. Okay, guys, love you. See you.
Thank you, Anatol.